What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And on today's video, first of all, I will apologize for the misinformation that I made in my yesterday's video. Then I will continue with this set of very interesting news. I have to say that with the most recent update from Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, we have not less but even more questions to Next Bridge Hydrocarbons board of directors and to their actions that they made or didn't make back in the days. And before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So guys, first of all, I want to show you this document again. It is the proof of the ownership of shares of Next Bridge Hydrocarbon shares by Daniel Spears. And in my yesterday's video, I told you that she has 7.2 million shares. And guys, I made a mistake and I apologize for this. It is not 7.2 million shares, it is 7.2 thousand shares. But nevertheless, she is a legitimate MMTLP shareholder, and that is why she can basically do anything on the legal field, because she has all the rights to do so. And basically, this doesn't change anything fundamentally. This just changes the number of shares and the value that was invested in Next Bridge Hydrocarbons in MMTLP back in the days. So, and let's switch to the actual news. I want to show you this tweet that was written by Scott right after I made my previous video. And he published this, let me quote it for you. Remember when John Burda and McCabe said there were 3.7 billion barrels of oil in the Orogrande? Ah, the good old days. Later, this was revised to approximately $45 million at best in value. See the Taggart lawsuit against McCabe. And then McCabe sold 6.8 million shares in MMTLP conveniently right before the halt at or near MMTLP's highest valuation, meaning McCabe probably made more of the sale of stock in MMTLP than even his last Middle-Muffin quality estimates of the value of the Orogrande. If he hit it right, he made $78 million in stock sales of a $45 million field. Of course, we all know they cooked the books. There is no oil there. Don't take my word for it. Look at the Taggart lawsuit. They did their homework. The questions that remain are simple. Was McCabe tipped off to the U3 halt? And did he short MMTLP after he sold his 6.8 million long? Merry Christmas. Let that sink in. There is no oil. He scored through stock sales, and now it's in his best interest to blow up NBH in bankruptcy to cover his tracks. Orogrande was the largest onshore oil discovery in over 30 years. And this is the direct quotation from the Torchlight Energy website. Hubi, that did not age well. It didn't actually age at all. Really, it was a DOA in 2020. It's all right here, and it's why McCabe and Burda will spend the next few years in court, if not prison. The blue winter breakers are coming for McCabe and company. And guys, definitely Scott makes a lot of statements that, in my opinion, he shouldn't make, but at the same time, guys, the facts are following. We were trapped and we are trapped in the U3 halt that was implemented by FINRA. At the same time, guys, completely separate case was the actions that was surrounding the MMTLP share price back in 2021 and 2022. And just recently, it was completely two different cases. And for now, guys, with the latest update that Next Bridge Hydrocarbons lost the Orogrande, their Orogrande asset, if you want to see the fair price for Next Bridge Hydrocarbons shares, guys, it doesn't have any grounds. It doesn't have any intrinsic value at this very moment, because Louisiana is also just some kind of smoke and mirrors. We don't have any estimation estimations of the real intrinsic value of these assets. And that is why, guys, these two cases for now become one huge problem for MMTLP shareholders, and we have to investigate it together. On top of that, guys, I want to show you this. Kostas made very right statement. Cool story, bro. Oil or not, it doesn't give brokers the right to oversell the float 4x and FINRA to halt trading for over 700 days. All have oversold not purchased liabilities that are now failure to deliveries and need to be reconciled in the open market. Release the audited MMTLP share accounts to prove who is ultimately right. And guys, I completely agree with Kostas. I completely agree with his opinion. We have to investigate both of these directions, because FINRA and other broker-dealers who shorted and other hedge funds who shorted MMTLP to oblivion, potentially they knew about the actions that were performed by the NextBridge Hydrocarbons Board of Directors. And because of this, they knew that they will not have any consequences of their actions, and that is why they opened short position without any fear. And that is why, guys, we had a strike from two sides. One of them was basically the actions that were made by board of directors, and potentially the result of these actions was the PR company that was made by MMTLP. And this PR company leads to the invitation, let's put it this way, invitation of a huge number of people to this company, to invest in this company. And this so-called invitation leads all the investors to the U3 halt. And this U3 halt was the result basically of the legal actions of from another side of the market, from authorities and hedge funds. And guys, I have to admit that this case is very tough, and it is very tough for all of the people who is involved in this process. At the same time, guys, I want to show you another tweet that was written by Scott. And guys, like it or not, Scott is the real shareholder, and he has all the rights to sue and to protect his investment, to protect his property. That is why, guys, you cannot prevent him to do any of his legal actions, and it is up to him what path does he choose. So, he wrote this just several hours ago, and first of all, I want to pay attention to the tweet that he refers to. It was written by Daniel Spears, and Daniel wrote, "Legits, pay attention, this is what you call caught with your pants down. I had McCabe served at an address he never disclosed to shareholders, never updated the change legally with the SEC nor the SEC of state. Days after being served, days after realizing shareholders now know he's been hiding critical information. Now he finds it necessary to issue PR that happens to mention that he up and moved the company without telling these shareholders. As if that makes it all nice and legal. No, apologize to shareholders for withholding that information. When did McCabe move his business to a new location without notifying shareholders? What date did he legally file the address change with the SEC and SOS? Can't wait to see the corrupt storm this causes the paid actors, in my opinion, such as Karma Collects, John Say, Jane Capella, Busy Brands, and so on and so forth." And guys, she refers to the press release that was written by NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and I will cover it within just a couple of minutes. But first of all, I want to pay attention to Scott Trott's tweet. He wrote in response to Daniel Spears, "Yep, old McCabe was playing a shell game, not just with companies, but with his own office, Eddie, for no barrels of oil here." I think from the management perspective, Greg was merely trying to manage all the grift in his 30-plus shell companies from one centralized location. But I digress. And guys, I have several quite interesting comments to his tweet. First of all, let me quote you this one. "Genuine question. Why continue publicly denouncing McCabe and NBH? What's to gain? The people who are in are already in, and those who didn't want to be in NextBridge hydrocarbons are focused on the bigger issue of the MMTLP U3 halt that trapped people and stole their rights to sell. And Scott responded to this. Because the best end state for all of us is to 1. Get paid, and 2. McCabe goes to prison for securities fraud and insider trading, and 3. The Space Queens and SMIs get their careers as shields ended, so there is a record that follows them around, no matter what screen name they use or games they play. So guys, Scott wants the justice. And this justice is not pleasant for all of the people. Definitely, the wrongdoers have to be punished. And I have to admit that on the human's nature, we have to see the justice around us in most cases. But at the same time, guys, it almost never happens. And we have to fight for this justice, and Scott is one of the people who is consistently doing this. So, let me show you the PR statement itself. As you can see, it was written on November 25th, and let me quote you this in details. NextBridge Hydrocarbons today announced the following. The company is pleased to announce several operational updates as fiscal year 2024 draws to a close. In the spring of this year, we changed independent public accounting firms and restated our financial statements for fiscal year 2022. After filing our Form 10-K for the year ended December 31st, 2023, we received a comment letter from the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance asking us to clarify certain information with the Form 10-K. We are actively working with the SEC to resolve their comments and update our 2023 Form 10-K, so we are in a position to update the registration statement on Form S1 that we originally filed in January of 2023. So guys, let me do some calculations. They are in a position to update the registration statement on Form S1 that they originally filed in January 2023. So they are in this process. They've been working for it for almost 2 years, guys. We are about 1 month till the January of 2025. And how it is even possible that the company that has numerous of people who worked in the offices, they cannot just make an update on the S1 form that usually has just several pages in it. How it is even possible? What they are doing there? I don't know, and it doesn't make sense to me. So, let me quote you further. NextBridge is also pleased to announce that we filed our Form 10-Q for the third quarter of 2024 prior its due date, adding further validation to our choice of independent auditors. And this and other filings are available on the SEC website. Additionally, the company has moved to corporate offices from their prior location in Fort Worth to Midland, Texas. Previously, NextBridge had been the recipient of beneficial rent-free office space provided in Fort Worth by mutual agreement with a non-affiliated company. For purposes of corporate efficiency and streamlined workflow, it was decided to relocate to Midland within the offices of McCabe Petroleum Corporation, where a similar rent-free agreement will be enjoyed. Guys, you know that just recently Sergeant Daniel, your favorite SGM, who sent a letter electronically, this letter with the questions to Greg McCabe, had some challenges to send the physical letter. And we found basically just 2 days ago that it was misleading information in the statements that was filed with SEC. And guys, right after that, Greg issued this PR statement. But as you can see, it is almost the very last paragraph in this letter, and I have to say that he didn't provide any information of the actual date of this change. When did they switch this address one to another? He didn't specify, and this is another question to his actions. On top of that, guys, I want to show you this update again. So In regards to the letter that was written by Daniel Oxer to Greg McCabe and board of directors of NBH, we have this question that was asked by Xeno Gray, and it says, if you want answers, then FINRA and the SEC have them. NBH didn't hold anything. They did what they said they would do in their filings. And Daniel responded, nothing in my letters referred to the HOT. I was curious about some other things NBH is either a stakeholder or did legitimately have control over. Believe me, I've complained at SEC all the way down to NBH now. Very rarely does anyone have a substantial answer given freely. And guys, I have to say that for now, with the most recent update, I have another quite interesting tweet and quite interesting, I would say, tip from Mark Basile. And he wrote this 18 hours ago. Worth the repost considering where the evidence is now leading. Also, everyone should read the opposition filed by plaintiffs in the Texas Federal Court class action case, just to put a cherry on top. And guys, this is the same lawsuit that was mentioned by Scott in his tweet, and basically in this lawsuit there is an independent investigation of the actions that were performed by Next Bridge Hydrocarbons board of directors and Greg McCabe in particular. But let me again show you this tweet. And Mark refers to the tweet that was written by Southern Oracle. And it was written on June the 2nd of last year of 2023. And let me quote you this. MMTLP, hypothetically, CEOs and other company employees can commit fraud without outright lying to investors. Omission and ambiguous statements are just two ways this is done. If I'm wrong, Mark Basile, please correct me. Thank you. And here is the screenshot of the definition, how it might happen. So, let me quote it for you. Situations also arise in which the maker of a statement intentionally says something ambiguous, knowing that the listener might be misled to believing something that isn't true, intentionally misleading people to induce them to take action or refrain from action generally gives a rise to fraud liability, and this sort of thing is no exception. It's no defense to argue a truthful interpretation was possible if the intention of the speaker was to mislead through ambiguity. And let's not forget fraud by omission. Concealment of a material fact may constitute misrepresentation. When courts ask you to speak not only the truth, but the whole truth, it's because half-truths can be just misleading as statements that are completely false. If a corporate CEO tells his shareholders only about 10 years positive developments and unfortunately I cannot read the entire statement, but nevertheless, guys, we know that we potentially knew just half of the truth that was said by the board of directors and CEOs of the companies, but definitely it should be investigated and the final decision should be made by the judge. On top of that, Mark added 17 hours ago this. So some comments over the past couple of days, they obviously have no understanding what the law says and how the law works, both criminally and civilly. It's unfortunately choose to not educate themselves and just repeat talking points. Shame. And Tavern asked him, how do you feel about the West Christian lawsuit? And here is a quite interesting statement again. Naked short selling has never been proven in civil court outside an SEC enforcement action, but there is always a first time for everything. If the case MMTLP includes spoofing claims, that should be enough to withstand an MTD. Just for your information, West Christian had an interim landmark decision in the Harrington case that made the prime broker responsible for the trades and orders of their customers. In fact, we are about to commence a similar lawsuit against a known dilution founder and its broker within the chain of market mechanics. The real question comes down is if there is a settlement or judgment in the MMTLP adversarial proceeding, that money is supposed to go into the bankrupt's estate to pay off creditors. creditors, such as the IRS, secured creditors, unsecured creditors, past due salaries, etc. Shareholders are last, if at all, in the line to get any relief. That's how bankruptcy works, especially with no equity security holders committee to look out for your interests. That's the law and how it works. And guys, George Palikors responded to this. True, as it is also true that if and when the litigation team, more than just Wes, does their work as expected and is able to recover a large enough amount, then I wholeheartedly believe there will be more than enough for the shareholders. There was no secured creditors in MMAT. The creditors are insignificant compared to the potential size of claim, and the waterfall, as it is called, will, in my opinion, flow all the way to every shareholder, maybe for the first time in history, and set precedents. I urge everyone to submit the expression of interest forms before the deadline, which is the next month. And Mark again responded, George is right. It really depends on 1. How aggressive the Chapter 7 trustee is, and 2. How much money the debtor can claw back into the estate. And guys, definitely the majority of these statements refers directly to MMAT. But guys, we know that MMAT was made in result of MMTLP merger and MMTLP spin-off. And that is why, guys, all of these statements, especially if you put into the consideration all the actors of this so-called performance, we have to investigate it together. And I think the bankruptcy of MMAT is the result of the actions that started back in 2021, even before the merger of TRCH and previous MMAT company. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.